For those of you who don't know, now you know. Now you know. This is a Miami Heat channel. Miami Heat. You don't like it? Do something about it. I'm just kidding. Don't do anything about it. Don't do anything but maybe like and subscribe. That was clean, too smooth. Today is the first of many Miami Mondays. It's not even Monday, but I'm pre-filming this. Preseason starts this next week. Miami plays, I think, like Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. Somewhere down the line. I'll be ready for it. I'm waiting. And I feel good. With Miami Monday, we're basically going to sit here every Monday and discuss the Miami Heat. Literally so in depth that you feel sick to your stomach. So if you're not a Miami Heat fan, you may not like this. We're going to do similar things with other teams throughout the season, but this is going to be something that is done every week. So if you see a video on a Monday uploaded and you're not a fan of the Miami Heat, or me, probably don't watch it. If you are a fan of the Miami Heat or me, then you could watch it. That being said, let's go ahead and let's dive into some topics. Typically, this is going to be a free-range conversation of just me talking to myself. So let's go ahead and get into it. One of the first things that I want to talk about with this upcoming season for the Miami Heat is obviously their their power forward problem, right? And to me, as a Miami Heat fan, I'm not too particularly worried about the team in general. I think losing PJ Tucker, he's obviously a great defender. You're not losing too much on the offensive end of the ball other than IQ and placement as far as where you're at on the court and spreading the floor. PJ Tucker was great at that. But depending on how Miami comes in this season and depending on how their starting lineup is formed, like I've said in other videos, Miami's starting lineup is going to be one of two situations. It's either going to be Kyle Lowry, Max Strus, Jimmy Butler, Yurtseven, or Bam and Yurtseven, right? That would be the lineup, and that's how the positions would play. The other lineup that is possible that I honestly feel like is more of a starting lineup for this Miami Heat team based off of how Coach Spo coaches in general and how that organization likes to play, which is a little bit smaller. So I think the starting lineup could comprise of Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero, Jimmy, Caleb, and Bam. Now, with that being said, if you were to ask me which starting lineup I would rather see out on the floor, I'm not. Look, I think Yurtseven is a great player. I'm not too overly sold on the idea of playing big 24/7. Now, if you were to ask me which starting lineup I would rather play, it would be the bigger lineup. The main reason for that is because Miami is known as a defensive team, number one. And with that being said, I feel like Miami would be better defensively because Max Strus played more minutes, played bigger games in those minutes, and has done well playing defense. Caleb Martin is a great defender, but I would rather have Strus be the switch guy and Bam be able to help off of Yurtseven because he is a younger guy and has to kind of learn the rotations and learn how to actually play defense properly. And look, I'm not some genius when it comes to sitting here and telling someone how to rotate on defense. But I do know that, there was some times during the season where he seemed a little bit lost. And with that being said, if Bam's beside him, I think that could actually help the situation where your really only soft spot is on Yurtseven. But Bam being a guy who's going to be guarding a bigger guy, he could, he's going to be more than likely in a position to help off of Yurtseven, to help him in a defensive situation. So I feel like it works better comparatively to asking Jimmy or Kyle to be a guy to help Tyler. I would rather see Strus start as well, just because I think it provides so much versatility on the second string with Tyler Hero. If Miami wanted to go big and start Tyler Hero, that's a possibility as well. I just don't know. I would not want to go big and start Tyler Hero just because you have a huge gap in defensive ability, right? You have two guys on the floor that aren't necessarily great defenders or even what I would consider NBA good defenders, right? Um, we haven't seen enough of Yurtseven to really give him a fair shake. However, we've seen enough of Tyler Hero to know that he is sometimes literally the piece that gets picked out on the defensive side of the ball and is used to, basically just they say, hey, let's go get a switch on Tyler and let's go score. Um, Look, I think Tyler Hero has the ability to be a decent defender. I don't to be a good defender in the league. Tyler has the ability to be a good defender in the league. Whether that's this year or 3 years from now, I don't know. He hasn't really shown a big jump in defensive ability. I would much rather Tyler focus on. Um, I would much rather Tyler focus on being able to score without a screen, being able to be more of an isolation player and have a little bit of a deeper bag. Um, and so I think he's able to do that. I think that shakes a lot of things differently um, for all of these so-called Tyler Hero haters. There's Tyler Hero haters and there's people that talk real about Tyler Hero and talk about the things that he could get better at and the things that make him. There's a reason why Miami hasn't given him an extension yet, and it's because they may not be completely sold on his ability overall as a future player or a future asset for the team. With that being said, though, if you're asking me who I would rather see play, I think the former idea of Kyle Strus, Jimmy, Bam, and Yurtseven, I think it works out well just because I think Yurtseven can come in and be a good offensive player. He's obviously going to rebound well. He can be a decent paint defender, I think, and he can continue to uh, kind of star in a very limited role as a starting player, which I think works out pretty well because you still have some versatility on offense with the way things are going. We're going to talk about this. Bam Adebayo kind of being what seems to be he wants to be like a star player for the team. Um, I think with the way that goes, I think you don't really need a Tyler Hero to really come in and start considering his defensive inefficiencies because we need to be locked in on defense 100%, or otherwise we're going to fall down in the seating, very quickly. Now, here's the thing: there's a lot of people that are out there saying, how good is Miami Heat? I don't know who did the report, but there was a report that they have Miami barely making the play-in, which is crazy to me considering we were a number one seed last season and went to the conference finals without a complete and healthy roster. We were one shot away from the finals without a complete and healthy roster. It's funny to me how the media plays things. With that being said, I don't think we lose too much. Defensively, I don't think we lose a whole lot with losing PJ Tucker. And the reason why I say that is because we had no Victor Oladipo the entire season last year. We had Victor Oladipo for mainly just the playoffs, right? And all he was he really didn't do well on offense, but all he was a defensive powerhouse, a defensive machine. Literally some of the best defense that Miami Heat has seen in the playoffs. And that's saying something because, Miami Heat is an illustrious playoff team the past, 10 years. And so with that being said, I mean, he had some great defensive performances in the conference finals. And I think without those defensive performances, we probably don't make it as far as we did. With that being said, you take PJ Tucker out of the lineup, but you add Victor Oladipo into the lineup. I'm not really too worried about our defensive ability. I don't think that we really lose any. Like, if you were to rank our defense and if you were to rank it from this year to last year, I think that it probably, if anything, it maybe goes up by a notch, like a small notch, like a half a notch, because you're talking about growing internally. You got some young players that want to play defense. Struce has become a better defender. You want to see Duncan Robinson become a better defender. You want to see Tyler Hero become a better defender. Gabe Vincent is a good defender. You didn't really lose a whole lot in the PJ Tucker situation, in my opinion, other than super veteran savvy IQ. Championship level IQ. And obviously that is important. But I think what Miami needs is a little bit of a resurgence of, we're building a team. There's a culture. You sit on the bench for a couple years because you're super young, and then you come in and you get some minutes because you work your ass off. Um, so I don't see Miami really faltering this upcoming season. I could see us being a mid level seed, like a 4 or 5 seed, just because of the intensity of the East this season. And don't worry, I'm be doing a full video covering my predictions as far as seeding and playoffs this upcoming season. Way too early predictions. Once again, it's coming back. Don't worry. But the last thing that I want to talk about in this video before it gets too incredibly long is Bam Adebayo and all of the things that he's been saying in these press conferences, all of these quotes that are being gathered. I love